Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today, as you can see from the title of this video, I am doing a get ready with me / story time. I do want to say that this is quite a triggering story time, and there are a few details that may be a bit gruesome or maybe sensitive to someone else. So I really do want to give a trigger warning to anyone who is dealing with any form of mental illness, mental health, depression, anxiety, or suicide, dark thoughts, self-harming, all of that stuff, because I do touch on that throughout this story time. So I did leave a hotline if anyone is struggling with antenatal depression, or just like depression in general, or suicide attempts and that sort of thing. I do want to very much just reach out and say that you're not alone, and there are communities and people who can actually help you get out of that dark space. And of course, I will be doing my makeup. It's nothing too hectic, a very simple look, as you guys can see, but you guys asked for, you know, a get ready with me, and of course I had to deliver. I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Please do comment anything that you want to say, and of course share if you can, and like, and of course subscribe, because we're on our road to 10k subbies. But without wasting any time, I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, so we're gonna get right into our conversation and actually get right into doing my makeup. I don't want to waste any time because I know that makeup takes so long, but I'm gonna try my best to like really hurry up. I wasn't sure if I was gonna wear this headband actually, but it kind of looks cute. It kind of puts everything together. I always have a rule against doing my eyebrows on camera. Do I want to do better this year and actually do my eyebrows on camera, or we're just gonna keep it the way we usually keep it? But I'm using the Hermosa Floor, is it the Precise or Precision pencil in the color Chalk Brown. Guys, actually, I'm gonna do my eyebrows off camera, but just want you to see the products. I'm gonna use their Hermosa Floor brow soap. I like to spritz it before, so that it gets wet, and I could actually use the soap. Anyway, let's get the video started. As you guys can see from the title, I'm going to be talking about, firstly, it is a story time. I'm just going to spritz my face with my what is this brand from Mr. Price? Scarlet Hill setting spray. Okay, so I'm doing a story time about the time where I, as you can see from the title, attempted suicide. And I was pregnant at this point. So I'm just gonna get into that, and just to talk also about like mental health and antenatal depression. A lot of my story times have been triggering you guys, and the thing with triggers, you never know if it's like a good thing, because I guess then people can talk to you or reach out to you or feel like they can they understand where you're coming from or what you've been through. Or is it like a trigger in the sense that people don't want to talk about this, they don't want to be reminded of a time where they experienced something like that. But for the sake of just like protecting everyone's mental health, honestly, I will put a trigger warning before this video. So I'm using my baby skin pore eraser primer. So this was around the time where I was, let's say maybe I had already come back home from PE. You know, you guys do have an idea of everything that I was going through around the time. I'm using my Hermosa Floor choose your own palette. What do they call it? Choose your own happiness. Yeah, choose your own happiness. I'm gonna do something very simple, guys, nothing dramatic. So this was the time where I had gone back home. I was maybe about like 6-7 months pregnant. No, maybe not 7 months, because 7 months was like around the time where I gave birth. So let's say 5-6 months, and by this point I was like fully home. Like I was fully home. I was living with my parents, as you guys know, and there was a lot going on, like my relationship, as you guys know, and what I'd shared previously, and just a lot, like everything was just weighing on me so much. I would spend my days, and I guess I'm grateful for that time a little bit, because that's when I started really pushing out like pregnancy content. If you guys check my channel, like back then, I did so many pregnancy videos. YouTube literally became like my happiness. Like it was the one thing that made me feel whole. It made me feel productive. It made me feel alive. So that was the only thing that I had around the time, and I was having like relationship issues. I've always never had a lot of friends, but I've always been someone who isn't used to like reaching out to people for help and stuff like that. Yeah, so a lot was happening in my life around the time. I was really struggling, but just trying to survive. Another thing that I also didn't see coming was just like the dynamics at home, but around the time that I was pregnant. Of course, coming back home for me was like my safest option. It made so much sense. I feel like if I had stayed in PE, I would have, my mental health issues already started in PE, which is why I came back home. I remember there was a point where I was self-harming. And again, guys, I don't mean to trigger anyone, but there was a point where I was self-harming, and I don't want to get into like gruesome details of like what self-harming is, but I was self-harming. And I remember my partner around the time saw the scars. I actually still have a scar from the time I self-harmed, and I'm sorry guys, but the blade went in so deep that it left like a permanent little knot thing. And my partner around the time noticed that, and he was very like frustrated, like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, why? And also, Nami, I didn't know, like I couldn't explain why I was doing something like that. I remember even like my eating disorders came back, and I was like, I'm not sure if I'm throwing up because of what's this, like nausea as a pregnancy symptom, but also like my eating disorders came back. I felt so shit about like eating and like gaining weight. I was really in a super dark space, which is why the time I decided to go back home, I literally just called my parents and started crying. And my mom was the one who was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Just come home. We're going to sort it out. If you're pregnant, come home. We're going to sort it out. It was about right. Like, we're going to do everything together. And I still do believe it was the best decision I made. Because honestly, I did have a great support system at home. And even in that, like, it was so hard. Hey, guys, it was so hard being at home and pregnant, and a school dropout, and just my whole life took a standstill, and I went back to like being my parents' responsibility. And mind you, I'm not even someone who asks help from people, and I know these are my parents, but like I literally graduated and then started working immediately. And even by the time I went back to school, I was independent. Like I was like, don't worry about me, I can handle myself. You know, I've always been umdonjalo. So when I went back home now, I'm literally fully under my parents' wing. And that also like really frustrated me a lot, to the point where even at home it became an even further toxic environment for me. I really battled with like just getting along with my mother. Guys, I'm not even gonna lie. And the crazy thing is that when I think about it now, she tried so hard. She tried so hard to be patient with me. I would just get so frustrated and so closed off. I didn't want to talk to her about my emotions and my feelings, and she would always try to be patient with me. And at some point she would get super frustrated that we would like not get along. Like there would be points where we weren't talking for a whole week, just because we just couldn't get through each other. And that made life so difficult. And it was like another like toxic dynamic, because eventually we would get to a point where we're like, okay, I'm sorry, or let's fix things, and we move on. But very soon after that, we like get to a point where we're arguing again. I'm using my Maybelline New York 30-hour foundation in the shade Caramel. So, yeah, at this point my whole home dynamic it started being super toxic. My brother wasn't around to be like the common person, but even then, like I was because he did come back eventually in December, and even then, like I was in such a dark space. I felt like I was alone, and I started being super closed off. Like no one understood me. If you remember, around the time I traveled a lot when I was pregnant, because my mom would take me everywhere. She would take me everywhere because she travels a lot when she's working. So she literally started taking me everywhere she goes to work. And as great as that was, we would get to a point where we start arguing, and I would get like so angry and so hormonal, and she would try to be patient with me, but I would get so frustrated. I think both of us really did a disservice for our relationship around the time, because it was really a difficult point, you know. I'll never forget like how hard it is being pregnant, and I definitely feel like I did experience antenatal depression. And antenatal depression is like the depression you get during pregnancy, whereas postpartum depression is the depression you get after pregnancy. So I was definitely experiencing antenatal depression, which also made things horrible. Okay, my mental health was at its bottom level. I'd wake up today and I'd feel good. I'd be happy about my kid. The next day, I'm just like, when is this child coming up? Like, coming out, like, I can't stand it anymore. Like, I don't feel like myself. I don't feel like I own my body. It was a really rough time. I remember my mom, dad, and I, we traveled to East London. We got booked at a place, and we were just chilling there. My mom was obviously working as well, so we were just chilling there, and we started it was like a very random conversation that we were having. And once again, my mom and I, actually we all got to like a miscommunication where we're just not understanding each other. And I was just trying to raise a point to my mom was trying to raise a point to us. I can't get too much into the details of the conversation because it was so ending, and I'm saying, guys, it wasn't even that deep. It wasn't even that deep. But the way that day literally fell apart, it was like like I don't even want to lie. So my mom was trying to make a point across about like work stuff and stuff like that. And then I disagreed with her. And then she couldn't understand why I was disagreeing with her. And then that whole conversation just blew up. My mom is like me. She's a super sensitive person. So sometimes when she's frustrated, she like cries, you know. So my mom was like, why don't you understand what I'm saying? Da, 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 da. And now, if I'm being honest, what I was saying, guys, it wasn't even that deep. It was a work-related thing about my mom's work. It wasn't even that deep, but we just disagreed on this thing. And so my mom got emotional, and she stepped out of the the B&B that we were staying at. I'm using the 24 anti-instant age eraser by Maybelline. So my mom steps out being all emotional and stuff. So my dad goes, and my dad's like, what the hell is going on? So my dad goes after my mom just to make sure that she's okay, because my mom was, we all knew that she was probably going to take a drive somewhere, and it was like late at night. So obviously her safety was a priority as well. So my dad went to go check if my mom is okay and stuff like that. So I was left in the Airbnb alone, right? And then I see, obviously now I'm starting to get emotional. I then grabbed these pills. I think it was Adcodol or something. But I grabbed these. No, I think it was Antenatal, because I remember at some point in my pregnancy, I did have some spotting. Like I bled a little bit, which is not right. And I was supposed to be on bed rest. That's why my mom took me everywhere with her. So I just took the painkillers and I drank the whole bottle. Like I drank the whole bottle of painkillers. And so I just sat there and I was just crying, and I was like, okay, like I'm realizing what I've done, but at the same time I'm still like, should I have done this? Like, is this the right decision? Mind you, there's a child in my belly, and I really am just like, also like bringing my child into a world where I'm just not happy in any aspect of my life. How in the world am I even going to do that? I was like, you know what, let me just fall asleep and just die peacefully like that. I was like, let me just maybe sleep and just die like that, because I'm also now worried about my mother. It's like, what if something happens to my mom and it'll be my fault, because that's why she left the Airbnb. So I just was like, let me sleep so that I can like die peacefully, you know. So as I was like about to sleep and whatever, my phone started going off, because now my partner was worried about what's going on. And then my dad walks in and he sees me laying there. By the way, I'm using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation, but this is a dark shade and I really wanted a contour stick, so I bought this and I've been using it since. I really love it. It's in the shade Chestnut. So my dad walks in, and I guess instantly he knew that something was wrong. Like he knew, and he just was like, get up, we're going to the hospital. So I got up and I got in the car. Mind you, I did a Ccgrwm B&B, guys, and like there are people next door, there's people at the reception, and I'm sure they were like confused. What is this commotion that's happening here? Because the mom walked out crying, and I remember before I got back into the room and took the pills, I did a walk out and I was like, maybe I should run away. Maybe I should run away. And then I got back to the hotel room. That's when I decided to take the pills. And mind you, I was crying when I walked out. So the reception, there's probably like, hey, well, these people just checked in today and they were pretty fine. What the hell is going on? Now with my dad, and he was trying to like, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? And I asked him to stop the car because there was like a drain by the gate at the B&B. And I was like, I need to throw up. I need to throw up. I need to throw up. So my dad stops the car and I get out the car and I throw up. And then we rush to St. Dominic's. So I get to St. Dominic's, and obviously like I'm pushed to the emergency dondoni. It was like a super dramatic thing. Like it's one of those things that I have compartmentalized in my memory. Like I don't think about this day a lot. Like that's why some of the information I even had forgotten, and I'm remembering as I'm telling the story, because I had just removed this memory out of my brain. And mind you, my dad had to like drop me off because he had to still go find my mom and try to get her to calm down, and like, because now it's becoming like a full-blown situation. So now I'm left at the hospital alone. I sat by the emergency dondon. They lay me down there. They put me into a drip. They unfucking drip. And then a nurse comes and she's like, what happened, and it was so embarrassing to even talk about this, because it's like, why would anyone do that? Why would anyone? I'm setting my concealer with the Makeup Revolution setting powder in the shade Banana. I couldn't really talk about it around the time because I felt so embarrassed. And just like I was still pretty emotional about what just happened. So I was like, no, I'm having like an argument with my parents and stuff like that. So different nurses kept coming in and they're like, what happened? And I had to like retell the same thing that I'm not even trying to talk about. And then eventually the nurse came, guys, and I remember the drip was so painful because I am someone who, my veins don't show, so it's hard to put drip. And like one nurse would come and they'd fail, and they'd be digging into my skin. Then the other one comes and they try and they fail. And then I remember they said they literally called like the top dog of like finding a vein, because they were really struggling to find a vein on my wrist. I got the drip, and then they made me drink a huge drug of charcoal, which I of course did. I drank the charcoal and I was admitted. So I think I spent 24 hours at St. Dominic's just laying there. And then eventually my mom came and she apologized about what happened. I also apologized to her. And the next day they were going to come pick me up. I'm just gonna put some blush now. I just used the same thingy, the same pinkish shade that I used for my eyes. So yeah, I remember getting Gogo on my last day there. A doctor came because I think I had been assisted by nurses for the whole period that I arrived. Then a doctor came and they said, listen, I'm gonna push you on a wheelchair and we're gonna take you to like scans and x-rays and stuff like that. And this is what's going to determine whether or not the baby is still alive. Let me tell you, when I was pushed to that scan room or whatever, I had the most hectic prayer in my heart. Like I was praying inside because I was being pushed to get a wheelchair. So it felt so slow motion and like so like the world is moving in slow motion, because like this is such a deciding moment for me right now. And I felt like if I found out that this baby is dead, I'll never forgive myself. If my child is gone, I will never forgive myself. And then what life will that be? Because I'm going to be even more miserable asking myself what could have been had I not attempted the suicide. Like what would my life be if I had now taken the life of my very first offspring? So I was just having a prayer like, God, please, I will do anything. Please. Like you should have just taken me if you have taken my child. So I get into the room and then they put the CG scan and everything. I remember the doctor, I'll never forget him. It's actually a parent, like the father of another girl that I follow on YouTube. And I remember she did a vlog where I saw her dad in her vlog, and I commented that your father saved mine and my daughter's life. So and she was like, oh, thank you. It feels so good to hear that about my dad's profession and stuff like something like that though. I got there and the lady did check me out and stuff like that, and she said, no, the baby is still okay. She's breathing, she's active, her heart is beating and everything. So yeah, the baby is still alive. And just hearing that, even now, like I get chills, because it was like, I don't know what my life would have been if, you know, anything had happened to me, my mom, and my child. You know, I don't think life would have ever been the same. And I remember when my brother called me and he was like so angry. Like, what? Like, oh, he was so angry. But who do I think we are leaving him with? Like, what type of life will he have if we're all gone? Because something could have happened to my mom, something could have happened to me. Like, why would we do that? So it was a very rough day, and I've never even thought of suicide after that. I'm so grateful to God for taking me out of that. And just gonna sit a little bit. And it's just, my heart is getting heavy, just to see how my life is now, and how and how a lot has changed. And just this year is really like affirmation that if you trust in God and you just go through it, like just allow yourself to go through the tribulations. Yeah, God, man, this happened when I was pregnant and I still gave birth. Like, mind you, my pregnancy was hard. I gave birth and that was still hard. I spent the most of last year just questioning my life, and like this year has really just made me feel like it was all worth it. I don't even know what God has in store for me this year, but I have this feeling that He's like, you know, you've been so faithful and you stood, you know, through the darkest and most challenging things, and I'm ready to like anoint you, or like I'm ready to show you that it was all worth it. That's just a feeling that I have in my heart. I don't have a lot, you know, I don't have a lot. I'm not yet a success story, but God has changed so much in my life right now that I know that it was not in vain. God really does restore, and he's faithful like that. So yeah, guys, I obviously gave birth to my beautiful baby. I'm just gonna put a little bit of the same shade that I've been wearing on my eyes, because I want like a matte finish. I'm gonna quickly put on my eyebrows, and then I'll come back to close off the video and share just a little bit of, you know, last remarks on this. Okay guys, this is the final look. I did put a little bit of highlight. Oh, why am I too bright? I did put a little bit of highlight, and obviously the lashes, and yeah, basically just a bit of shimmer and glow here and there. But yeah, this is our final look. I know it wasn't anything too dramatic like the other makeup looks that I usually wear, but I really just wanted to do something subtle and simple, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little get ready with me, and of course you enjoyed the story. Again, there is a trigger warning, there is a helpline if you are struggling with your mental health and that sort of thing. And mental health is not just a, you know, a one-way, you know, magic trick that you can fix and snap out of. I am still struggling with, you know, anxiety and stuff like that, but you know, there's always a way to help, and there are always healthy coping mechanisms, and there are always you know, if you don't have people in your camp that you can talk to, there are people out there that you can reach out to, and they will understand exactly what you're going through. Otherwise, but thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking your time and supporting this channel. I really appreciate you guys' support. I do see the views going up, and I am just so grateful to you guys. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will definitely see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe and to comment and to share if you care.